So first off, the name Thief comes from the tool that like dips into barrels for tasting, but also is kind of a reference from the owner's like Beastie Boys inspiration and his like love for the Beastie Boys. So it all connects to that and like that era and that era of New York City as well. Hello, my name is Brenda Riepenhoff, and I'm the head bartender of Thief, and I'm at our LES location, Lower East Side location in Manhattan. We have our first location in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, so I'm at our new location in the city. So we don't want to be a dive bar, right? We don't want to be one of those places where you walk in and the bathrooms are dirty and like it's just chaos. It's a little bit more organized, I guess, or like clean. I don't know the right word for that. But we also want to be a place where like locals can come, walk around the corner, you know who's going to be there, you know what drinks are available, what food is available, and it becomes a real like family atmosphere. We do have a mixed clientele, but I think a lot of people come in and then they hear what music is playing and they're like, oh my God, I haven't heard this song in forever, you know? And then we also have, I think, younger people, like 21, freshly drinking, you know, who also like have an appreciation for that era. So we want to have drinks that are approachable, but also not just the standard classic. So here we have about a 10 cocktail menu, so we can be a little bit more adventurous, but we also want to be approachable in the terms of we're not making 5 aquavit cocktails. You know, like we have our vodka cocktail. We know that people like to drink tequila. People like spicy tequila, so we have our jalapeno tequila passion fruit margarita variation, but it's not just a straight, you know, margarita. It has a little twist to it. Sometimes people who maybe don't have as much experience drinking cocktails might walk into a place and they're very overwhelmed because they're like, what's that ingredient? Or I've never heard of that. I don't know what to do. And we want it to be a more like comfortable vibe where anyone can walk in and kind of try something new, but also not be so intimidated. So I'm going to be making the Around the Way Girl cocktail, which is a variation on a white Mezcal Negroni. And then we also clarify it at the end, which just kind of smooths it all out and makes it super, super chuggable. It comes from the LL Cool J song, Around the Way Girl. And it just, again, represents kind of like the musical influence on the bar and also New York City and in this neighborhood and people that drink here. Absolutely. So I'm going to start just making a non-clarified version, and then I will pour the one that we already have prepped, and then we can talk through like that process a little. I'm going to do ice first. So it's 4 dash mole bitters, 3/4 ounce of Bonal Gentian liqueur, 3/4 Xila Mezcal liqueur, and then 1.5 ounces of Mezcal. So I'm going to pour both this one that I just made and then our pre-batch clarified cocktail. So what we do is we'll batch all the liquor together first, and then add that cocktail to the milk, about 1 ounce of milk per cocktail. And then that has to sit for roughly 12 to 24 hours, anything in that range. And then you strain. I actually have like a milk bag here just to show. So once that's been sitting and kind of like curdling in the milk, you dump everything in here, and this cocktail will start straining through that curd that's set on the bottom. And that's what allows it to be like a clearer texture, a smoother texture. Some of the elements from the milk will kind of infuse into the cocktail, which gives it like the creamy mouthfeel, and it'll also take away some of the harshness. And the key is not to disturb the curd, as they say, because once you do, then it won't be straining through that curd and it'll get cloudy and milky. And then just to show, this is the one that I made without clarifying, and then this is our pre-made clarified. Let me just grab an ice cube. We also make clear cubes. They're kind of like frosty on the outside now, but the cube itself is also pretty clear and clarified. So you can see the color difference. And the only difference is that it's been clarified. Yeah, definitely. It doesn't really take a lot, more just patience. There's a lot of info online about it too, but the biggest thing is that you want to batch the cocktail first. Usually about however much dilution you would add to the cocktail is about how much milk you want to add. And there's a lot of info online to find out about specifics, but basically you need space to strain something into, and then that'll vary based on the size of the batch you're making, and a cheesecloth or a milk bag. And then you just need time and space to like let it do its thing. When you first pour everything through the strainer, I tend to find that the first stuff that comes out is a little cloudy, and that needs to be redumped in there. So what we like to do is kind of hang it somewhere where we can just have it drip down, and then after you can see it start to get clearer, then you kind of trade that out for like a new basin, and then redump super slowly into that curd that's already there. And I think maybe, depending on the batch, like you probably can't easily do just one cocktail. You probably need to do at least 5 or so it'd be a good idea to make it as a batch. It's a little, I guess, rough around the edges as is, when you just make it straight without the clarifying. It has the smoky notes, it has a bit of fruitiness. It has, that touch of wine base and vermouth. But Bonal in general is not an overly bitter ingredient on its own. So, instead of Campari, which it takes a while for people to get a taste for Negronis, this is a little bit like simpler. And then by clarifying it, it even cuts more of that edge off. So Xila liqueur is a mezcal-based liqueur that is flavored with 7 main ingredients: spices that are clove, cinnamon, and black pepper, flowers like hibiscus and lavender, and then there's some ancho chili and caramelized pineapple. That mixed with the Bonal because the Bonal is actually the wine-based ingredient, that kind of replaces the vermouth. And then there's bitterness in the Bonal, which will kind of replace like the Campari or whatnot. Very popular. It's like right now, Mezcal, everybody wants it. Everybody wants a cocktail with Mezcal. And then once they realize how just smooth and easy to drink it is, you don't even realize you're drinking a Negroni because it's just so smooth and refreshing, and it's stored in the fridge. So it just comes right out of there and is super cold. And today we have our first like 90-degree day in New York, so it's good for hot days. I'd love to know if anyone tries this and how it comes, and then it's obviously available here at Thief in the Lower East Side. If anyone wants to come by and have a drink, I'd love to say hey.